My dream was to have a company that manages talent and produces content. Now that a lot of people are doing content, a lot of celebrities are doing content, I have to compete with them as well.
What do you say 2 or 3 things people should really pay attention to just to level up in creating their content?
One that should make sure that how it looks is clean. The second thing is, what is the goal? And if you're working with a client, what does success look like?
So when I started first creating content, it was because I wanted to level up my relationships. And I knew every time I turned these cameras on, or if I had a camera with me, it gave me the opportunity to bring somebody on, learn about this individual, build a relationship, and just kind of like increase my network capital.
But I feel like we've been so conditioned to share so much on social media. Like, are we missing out on like real life experiences? I think sometimes that gets scary.
In what regard? Like Black Mirror is scary?
Not Black Mirror level scary.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the On the Pursuit podcast. We're back downtown LA, and it's the first month of the year. First podcast 2024. Kicking some things off with my good friend Anthony Allred. What's up, man?
What's up, sir?
Welcome to the show.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you. And you and I met a couple months ago. What was it, November?
Yep.
November. So yeah, couple months ago, I learned that you are a creative director. You're an executive producer behind some major pieces of content.
Mm-hmm.
And when I learned that, I thought about the differences between, like, let's say someone like myself that just creates content, you know what I'm saying? Versus, let's say someone like yourself that are doing higher level production, right? And the reason why I think about that is, so a lot of individuals call themselves content creators, and yeah, I'm an executive producer, but they don't really know what goes behind that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? What that means, like, technically, like if you're really walking into a big production, or if you put some things off. So why don't we just start right there? Like, what's the difference between if a casual content creator just putting on a production, let's say even this podcast, versus if you're putting on like a bigger show, I
think if
you say the differences,
I really think it's probably not a lot of differences. I think the big thing is, who are you making it for?
Yeah.
How are you making your money? And the people that are giving you the money, what do they expect?
Okay.
And I think that's how you got to break it out. So as an executive producer for, major shows, your job is to think about the full vision. So who is the talent? What are you doing? What is the goal? Why are you creating this show? How long the show has to be? Are there sponsors involved? What are their expectations? Do you have to hit a certain amount of views? All of those things. To the small things. So like when somebody is on stage or somebody is on the camera, what does it look like? What's behind them? What's in front of them? What's going to be in the edit? You have to think about all of that in advance. The biggest part of that is how you're making your money. So if you have to get 100,000 views in order to make a certain amount of money, who are you going to have in that show? Or what content is in that show that's going to draw those views in? If you have a brand or a sponsor attached to it, what are their expectations? How will that impact the show? But also, how do you make sure that they don't take over the show? Because brands sometimes want the world, but you don't want to compromise your show.
Okay, so if you are just a regular content creator, and you're going into creating a production, right? Whether it be for yourself or let's say even for a client.
Okay.
Based on what you just said, what are some things that they should definitely pay attention to? Because I really like how you said, thinking about like the end, like are they expecting, the views? Like what's the goal for what we're doing? So what you say, maybe like 2 or 3 things people should really pay attention to just to level up them creating their content?
One that should make sure that how it looks is clean. Everybody wants the content to look clean, no matter what platform it's going to live on. So YouTube, Instagram, it should be clean. The second thing is, like I said before, what is the goal? And if you're working with a client, what does success look like?
Gotcha.
Sometimes the clients don't know that. So then you have
so they don't have no idea what their
they
metric of success is.
Right. They know what they want to see. But when you ask them what success looks like, they get stuck because they didn't think past what they want to see. So And that sets you up for failure if you don't know the answer to that question, because they can ultimately say, oh, well, we didn't get, the amount of views that we wanted or the type of people we wanted watching. You need to know that ahead of time so that you can create something that's a winning formula.
And it meets their expectations.
So that you can have them come back.
Yeah.
And that should be the goal of any time you work with the client. You want them to return.
Yeah, and that actually makes a lot of sense, right? So even for our business owners, right, entrepreneurs out there that are watching, listening, are you asking that question, right? Are you learning what that level of expectation or success is? And ultimately, like, I'm even thinking for myself, if that's part of, let's say, like the onboarding, if that's part of like the entry conversation you're having, you'll have a better idea of like what you're delivering.
Yeah.
And how you can actually make it better. And you know what I'm saying?
And it also helps you manage expectations, and you can apply that to any job. So like I work with artists as well, and I manage artists.
Oh, like what type of artists are we talking about?
Gospel artists,
okay,
rappers, and pop artists as well. When I start having the conversation about joining a team, I ask what the expectations of me are. And then we'll have the conversation like, well, you named 5 things, I can do 3 of those. Does that work? Does it not work?
Yeah.
I think that allowed you to manage expectations. And then I ask, what are your goals and what does success look like? And if they don't know that, okay, cool, well, let's develop that then. Let's figure out what that looks like.
Engineer what that might be.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm stepping into this role to help manage something. So we have to figure out what I'm managing and how we make sure it's successful. So that, it applies to every industry.
Yeah. So you're on a pretty big network right now, right?
Complex.
Yeah, Complex. I remember getting the actual magazines back in the day, and what's his name? Chance the Rapper. The cover he was on. He actually had our brand. So we had so before you wore the 3 hat, you used to wear this bike hat. I don't know if you remember that back in the day, and that bike was our brand logo. Kendrick was also in Complex back in the day, and he used to wear this red hoodie that was also our brand. So Complex used to hold us down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, what brand is this?
So it's called Society Original Product.
Okay.
So it was a streetwear brand from Boston. So a lot of like entertainers, they will wear our brand, and they got a story or got a shoot. So that was cool. So Complex was always leading with culture, and still is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how did you end up working for the network and let people know what you got going on with them?
For sure. So prior to Complex, I was at BET. I was there.
Big difference?
Big difference.
Okay.
BET is on television.
Yeah.
Specifically dedicated for the Black audience. Complex is a digital platform. While our audience has a lot of Black people that follow, the content is just about entertainment. It's not specifically for Black people, even though Black people love it. And that's fine. So I started my career at BET producing 106 & Park, interning first, then producing 106 & Park. Through that, I started working with talent. Once 106 & Park ended, I moved to LA the first time.
Was that when Bow Wow was hosting, or
he was the last host? But I was there before he was the host.
Yeah.
I was at BET 10 years.
Okay.
So yeah, he was the last host. 106 ended. I moved to LA the first time. I started working for Diddy at Revolt Live. Pretty much with the same show. But while doing that, I was working with celebrities. So that show went on a hiatus, which means
Revolt Live did.
Revolt Live went on a hiatus. And for those who don't know what a hiatus is pretty much a break in the filming. So if you're a freelancer, when you're on a hiatus, you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So now I'm living in LA. I'm on a hiatus. I'm not getting paid. My bills are still coming in.
Bills are coming.
So of course I had a savings, but they kept extending the hiatus, and I wasn't getting anything else.
Why were shows going on a hiatus, by the way? Is that typical?
It is typical. One, it could be a budget cut. So now if you had $1 million before and now you have $500,000, you can't pay people all the time. So you just reduce the amount of episodes you shoot. I don't know why that show went on a hiatus that time, but anyway, it was extended too long for me to have all my eggs in that basket. So I started picking up gigs back in New York, and I would have to fly to New York because I was living in LA. So ultimately I moved back to New York. I went back to BET, this time in the talent department, Revolt called me back. They wanted me to move back to LA, and I hit them with some crazy demands. I was like, you got to ship my car out there. You got to fly me back out there. You got to pay my rent for 6 months, because I felt like I was burned.
Yeah, facts.
So if you want me to do this again,
situation again,
right?
Yeah.
If you want me to do this again, this is what it looks like. The other thing was, or you can make the show bi-coastal. I will stay in New York and run it from here, and then you just have another team in LA run that side. And that's what they went with. I don't know why, because it was more expensive, but I didn't care about their bills. I cared about mine.
100%.
So I did that. So then I was working for BET and Revolt at the same time. Neither company knew that.
Okay.
But they were literally 3 blocks away from each other in New York City, so I could walk from one to the other.
So you was making it work.
I was making it work. Revolt Live went on another hiatus. It is still on it. And that was from 2018.
So was that show successful? Like as far as like production value and viewership?
It looked great.
Okay.
I don't know what their measure of success was.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. Yeah.
Right.
So the perception might look like, okay, this show's moving, but it's probably not meeting what their level was successful.
Also at the time, I would consider Revolt at the time still a startup. So they were still trying to get into more households. And that could have made it a little bit complicated. You have this show that costs a lot of money, but you're not getting the eyeballs because your network is not reaching everyone yet. So while you have the product, you don't have the eyeball. Yeah. And then is it worth making? So I think that's probably a bit of what happened there. But anyway, that went away. I still stayed at BET because luckily I had 2 jobs. So from 2018 to 2019, I was at BET, and then 2019 I left and started at Complex as a junior booker.
So what's the junior book?
It's not extremely entry level. It's one step above entry level. But pretty much you're booking talent for Complex has branded content. So we do content that you don't even know that Complex is doing, because we do it for different brands. And then original shows like Sneaker Shopping, Hot Ones, Full Size One, 360 with Speedy.
Basically, you would have like these platforms or these shows, and you will book the talent. So like if there's an artist or whatever the case may be that fit for that show, you would basically say, hey, listen, we got this show. They want you. You just basically make that happen.
Yeah. Send emails, make phone calls to the labels, agents, whoever it is, sometimes the talent themselves, and say, hey, pull up to the show.
That's kind of what I got going on with pod agencies. So I kind of do the same thing, just for podcasts. Okay. So I build a relationship with, different podcasts, and then build relationships with, the clients.
Yeah.
And they want to get on these shows and get more exposure, and we just kind of make it happen.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I did as a junior booker. And then the job doesn't change as you grow. It's just what you're assigned to. So now, 3 years later, I'm the head of the department.
So what are two of the shows that you booking for right now?
Right now, I'm not doing a lot of the booking.
So you got somebody underneath?
I have a team of 8.
Okay, that book the shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I was mentioning before, Hot Ones, which is one of the biggest shows on the internet. Snacked, which is also under the Hot Ones brand. Sneaker Shopping, which is the #1 sneaker show in the world. 360 with Speedy, which his interviews go viral all the time.
Yeah, I actually seen he had posted something about, I guess he did something at Target, and some girl reposted and tried to roast him, talking about he got the little shows on.
Yep. Speedy's always going to respond.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then anything that goes on Complex socials. So sometimes there's content just for our social media. My team books that as well.
What's up, y'all? Listen, if you are a business owner or entrepreneur and you juggling your email, your text messages, you don't have a CRM, you don't have any automation, you don't even have your social media posts scheduled, I have the solution for you. What you want to do is tap into the lead attraction system. This is an all-in-one system that's going to handle your text messaging, your email, your CRM, your invoices, get you paid, your digital products, your memberships, your courses, your funnels, and also it's an all-in-one solution so you can get rid of all these other things. It's in one system. You pay one price every single month, and they also have a weekly office hours. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Tap into the platform and make sure that you grow your business. Lead attraction system. Grab the link below. Let's go.
Got you. So,
and then Complex Con. That's what I have my hands on.
So what shows would be the most demanding? I guess what I'm saying is there like a guest profile that would fit for multiple shows? So would you be like, okay, let's do Hot Ones and then Speedy show? Like, how does that work? Or do they not want to have similar guests?
It really depends on the production. So there are some shows that want the same talent, and we do our best to get all of them that same talent. But if the talent doesn't want to do it, they don't want to do it. So I might pitch a 360, a sneaker shopping, and a Hot Ones, and all three shows would take the talent.
And the talent might just choose one. They're not
right. Which sucks, but I can't make anyone do anything they don't want to do. But sometimes it works, and we are able to do all of our shows at the same time. And then there's some talent that just work for specific shows. So like if there's someone who does not eat spicy things, we would never pitch them Hot Ones. So they just don't make sense for that show.
Yeah. So what do you feel like the guests get out of it, right? So do guests ever turn completely down, like, nah, it doesn't make sense? Or do they not see how it would benefit them? You run across that?
I think that's where the relationships come in. So if they are promoting something, they know exactly why they need to be on the show. If they are not, then it's like, well, why do I need to do it?
Yeah.
So I have to convince, or my team have to convince their label or their agents to make it valuable for them. Or maybe we make a deal. Hey, I know you're not in promo right now. We do have a need right now. Let's, knock this out. And when you are in promo, we'll make sure we have something for you there. Or
so it's kind of almost like you gonna do something for me, do something for you type of thing.
Or I might have a bigger opportunity or a branded opportunity that comes with some dollars down the road. Like, hey, this could make sense for you down the road, but I need that. And there has to be a trust there that once I say this and I do it, I'm going to back it up. So,
how valuable would it say for someone to always get exposure? So do you feel like I guess should only get exposure or come on a show if they're in a promo mode, or should they take advantage of getting on as many platforms as possible, as often as possible?
I think it's always good to show personality, and you don't have a lot of opportunity to do that when you're in promo because you have one thing that you're trying to get out.
Yeah.
So I think it does make sense to do things outside of your promo time, but don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Because then what will you have to talk about when you are trying to sell a product?
So what are some things that, from your perspective, booking talent, like you learned or that was like a surprise to you?
There's a lot more competition than you think.
As far as getting people on?
Yeah, just like and also gatekeepers.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about gatekeeping.
Talent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm not necessarily always going directly to a Wiz Khalifa or to a Drake.
Yeah.
I have to go through other people sometimes. And what are the needs of those people? How do those people feel about the brand that I'm working with? How did I treat them the last time we worked together, maybe for a different artist? Do they feel like my brand is big enough for their artist? All of those things come into it. Also, now that a lot of people are doing content, a lot of celebrities are doing content, I have to compete with them as well. So Kevin Hart has a show that he's doing. I have a show that I'm doing not hosted by Kevin Hart. So I have to try to get the same talent he's getting. He has an advantage because he's Kevin Hart. I have a strong brand, which is complex.
Yeah.
And our socials go crazy. So how do we, figure that out? And that's the big part of my job, keeping those relationships.
Does compensation ever come into play? Like guests wanting to get paid and things like that?
People always want to get paid.
Okay.
For our original shows, we don't pay. It's editorial. It's like doing an interview for a magazine. You wouldn't pay for that. If we're doing branded content for another brand, like a Coca-Cola or something like that, we're going to pay because we're getting money for that.
Does the guest have access to like files, the content? Let's say Wiz Khalifa come on Hot Ones or something, right? He doesn't get paid for that.
Correct.
Does he have access to those files that he can redistribute, or does Complex own those?
We own all of it.
Own all of that. So he can't even reuse it. Like he can repurpose it.
He can repost what we shared.
Yeah. You ever get I guess inquiries for clients asking for access to their files, or not really?
Not really the raw footage, because you have to also then have a team behind you to create something from that, and it has to be valuable. And if we've already put out the content, let's say Hot Ones, for example, we also cut it into social assets and promoted those as well. So I don't know what they would do with it.
Yeah.
And if they wanted something that we've put out there, it's going to be on our socials.
Gotcha.
So you can just grab it.
How valuable do you think redistribute I can't even say it right now. Redistributing content is? How valuable do you think that is? I mean, we talked about Cal Williams a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely valuable because, one, when you talk about calculating numbers, you get two different sets of numbers that you were talking about.
Yeah.
One from the original place that you've put the content, and then all of the other places you distributed it. But two, it could lead back to people wanting to see the full piece. So if you put something on YouTube, but you have smaller pieces of content on Instagram and TikTok and X, it can drive back to YouTube. So you're getting numbers on both sides, and numbers is how you make money.
Are you see any of the platforms like trending up, like 2024, like more than any of the other ones? You think Instagram still hitting is the same versus TikTok versus YouTube Shorts, anything like that?
I don't hear much about YouTube Shorts. Obviously they're popular, but I don't hear much about them. TikTok got us in a chokehold right now. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't personally like TikTok, but I see its value.
Yeah.
I feel like it is competitive, very competitive with Instagram and Instagram Reels. One going up, I still think that TikTok is on an upward trend. I'm not sure if Instagram is.
Got you. Yeah, I feel like Instagram is, they used to be leading a lot of stuff, right? Obviously, TikTok came in, and now I feel like they're kind of like setting back, copying, you know what I'm saying? Like emulating a little bit more. Like, you know, they came out with like the threads. So I never even opened up with threads.
Wow.
I'm like, I ain't doing this.
Why?
Cause okay, for two reasons. One is like, I didn't want something else to manage.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then two, I felt like I didn't really feel like it was gonna be around like that.
How many platforms are you managing?
So now my team manages everything, right? So it's like, you know, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, email, text messaging, all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But with threads, it's like, all right, if I'm gonna put this out on Twitter, like people were asking me to like, you know, like join the thread. I'm like, I'm not even messing with them. Like I was sitting back and kind of waiting a little bit. You know what I mean?
What are you waiting for?
I was waiting to see the value. Like I kind of like, you know how you were saying you were really hitting that moving on the shorts. I wasn't really hitting that moving on the threads.
Okay.
You know, from my perspective. Like I'll see people put it up, but I'm not seeing anyone's threads go off crazy viral. Like I haven't experienced that yet from my perspective.
No, I would agree. I think it's still in its infancy. So I don't think it's there yet. I think it might.
They didn't abandon it. I feel like they not abandoned it, bro.
I think it depends on what happens with X. There's so much turmoil with that platform.
Yeah.
Between
it just
people.
kept Twitter.
I agree. But I think between its owner now and what the platform is allowing to do, a lot of people are running away from it. And they're looking at Threads as an alternative, but I don't think enough people have done it.
Yeah.
On that, I don't know if enough people will do it. So like for me, I have Threads and I have Twitter X.
Yeah.
So I see myself.
Are you Xing in Thread?
I'm not doing either, but I'm on both. But when I look up something, I'm going to X first. Still. Now, I'm choosing not to tweet or X or whatever that is just because I don't be having nothing to say. And if I have something to say, it's going to go on my Instagram story or my close friends.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I also don't even know. I've had X for so long. I don't even know who is following me and if they're even interested in what I have to say anymore.
So I use X as just redistribution right now because I'm like, almost like you. I don't like mine is there and I got followers. But like when I X or tweet or whatever, none of it really goes crazy with the numbers. Like I'll get a couple hundred, you know what I'm saying, a couple of reshares. So like I don't even know if people really paying attention. So it's kind of like I'm like, you know what? All these things is on all the other platforms. I'm gonna just put it in on X as well for you to see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think you just do it just to see if you get numbers, or is it literally the same content you're putting?
So, you know, on X is it's words, right? So it's conversations, how I feel. So it'll be a little bit of both. So I didn't do it today, but it'll be like maybe how I feel on the way to this podcast, or like, wrapped up another one, or maybe I'm resharing like a YouTube video that I dropped, throw the link in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm using it.
Let me ask you a question. You said hypothetically you might have shared how you feel coming to this podcast.
Yeah.
Why would you want to share that on X?
Because I feel like that's the platform to do that.
But why do you need to share it at all?
Why do I want to share on social media?
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like I've been conditioned to want to share. I feel like me holding things aside is not really helping anyone, right?
So before
it's not hurting anyone either. Right. At the same time, I feel like if I'm sharing something, the opportunity for someone to digest it or maybe get some value from it exists. But what if I hold it to myself? They won't even have that option.
But are you getting value from that?
I feel like it because I'm getting it out. So if I feel like there's something that I wanted to express, I'm able to express it. So I feel like on X, you can do that quicker. It's kind of like if I'm on the phone with you, it's like, yo, this is how I feel. I can rant, whatever.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I guess you can start doing that a little bit more because Instagram, it's a little bit now, kind of used to people posting a little bit more consistently. Obviously, stories, you can go crazy.
I know.
But on some of the other platforms like YouTube, I wouldn't do it on YouTube. It's just not the platform for that.
What if there was no social media? Then how would you express yourself?
I would just journal. But, rants. That's what it is, right? Just this is how I feel,
Because I think I posted on my close friend a while ago. When I feel like when I am posting or when I'm sharing, it is for a specific audience. And what if that audience wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Would my feelings change? Would I want to share?
So it's like if a tree falls in the forest, does it make sense?
It's similar to that. Would you hear it? It's similar to that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've been so conditioned to share so much on social media. Like, are we missing out on like real life experiences?
I don't think so, man. I think, okay, if we were created in God's design, right? What did He make?
Okay. What did He make?
We were made in God's image. What did He make us?
What did He make us? Human.
Okay, but what else is in His image? He made us what? We're human, but we were made to what?
Serve Him.
Okay, and by serving Him, we were made to do what?
Spread the gospel.
Okay, and if we spread the gospel, we're doing what? We're creating.
Okay, I'm about to say, you got to get to the point. We're going to go deep in this Bible.
All right, so we're creating, right? So I feel like in 2024, we're here to create, right?
Mm-hmm.
However we want to create. Some people create by literally using all of the social media. Some people just create still by art and they don't use any social platforms. Some people create by journaling. Some people create by speaking, making music. You know what I mean? So to your point, I feel like if, let's say it's like a balance, which I don't believe in like a 50-50 balance, but let's say there's a balance if you're enjoying your life and not sharing so much, but then you also sharing so you can impact somebody, right? Because, how easy it was for me to, you and I to link up a couple months ago, build a relationship, say, hey, man, listen, I got a platform, love to come on, let's have this conversation on the podcast.
Right.
There could be a bunch of people that would love to do that, but they have all these excuses in their mind, or they don't have the money to invest in equipment, right? So if they see this, it may inspire them to want to create it. But they got inspired because we created.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but people were still being inspired and creating before social media.
100%. But now we're using the tools and resources that are available. So now things just move faster.
So we were creating before social media. You said we're using the tools.
Yeah. We just had different tools.
Right.
How old are you?
36.
Okay, so I'm 43, right? So I remember when the first phone, like cell phone dropped, like flip phone, camera phone situation, right? That was like a big deal. It was like I think it was like a Sandio or something. I was before the internet, right? Payphone, you know what I mean? So we were still using what was available to us, to create. More people back then, I would say we would be drawing, we would be journaling, we would create art. You know, I found a picture of me when I was maybe, I don't know, I'm assuming I might have been like 6, 7.
Okay.
I had a camera in my hand. I didn't even know I had a camera in my hand. So like you could Polaroid, right? You know what I'm saying? You like Kodak. So we were still using different mediums to create and express ourselves. I remember having the big camera, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I was in a video production class at high school. So I think we were doing it. I think now things are just way faster, way easier. Like you could do a whole movie on your phone. You know what I mean? I mean, we're using cameras, but we could start this whole thing using iPhones. You know what I mean? Back. So I feel like it's just way more accessible. And you can monetize that way differently. We wasn't thinking about monetizing back in the day. We just created, like, you know what, this is a memory. We're going for us. Yeah. But now, look, you can have it during that for us. Yeah, but you can have it for you, and you can share it, and you can monetize it, which is still for you and other people.
I think sometimes that gets scary.
In what regard? Like Black Mirror is scary?
Not Black Mirror level scary. But now your purpose, like if you started creating something for yourself, right? What we were doing back in the day, that made me happy. Now that we have social media, now that we're exposing it to other people, now you have to take them into consideration if you really want to monetize.
Yeah, honestly.
And I think that takes away from the creation.
On what level? You think like authenticity?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think you have so many other things you have to think about versus what just makes you happy.
Yeah.
That it changes the creation.
No, that makes sense. It kind of, in some cases, can make the artist or the creator trapped.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if my audience only responds for this type of content, I have to keep making this. Or if they're saying they only want this, I have to kind of do this. I mean, I can see that.
Think about, I'm bringing it to music. Everyone says they love when Mary J. Blige is not in a relationship or going through heartbreak because she makes the best music. Why she got to live in that, though?
Yeah.
She wants to be happy. If she wants to make happy music, now people don't want to listen. Now she got to keep going down. She got to keep crying. Like, that's not cool. If she was in that space and just doing it for herself, fine.
Well, that's a society issue, bro. That's deeper than that. That's
well, who are we creating content for?
I mean, it depends. I guess going back to what we said earlier, this year intent. You know what I'm saying? What's the end goal here? You know, like I remember when I started. So when I started first creating content and like being more intentional on it, it was because I wanted to level up my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I knew every time I turned these cameras on, or if I had a camera with me, it gave me the opportunity to bring somebody on, let's say the podcast, have a conversation, learn about this individual, build a relationship, you know, and just kind of like increase my network capital, you know, and then hopefully I can bring value to this person or connect them in some way. That was my initial intent. And I still have that going on. But, you know, I've invested in my personal development. I invested in just like learning about how I could grow and monetize what I had going on years ago. So now I'm able to do both, you know?
So what's your goal?
With what?
With all of these platforms that you have and all.
So honestly, my goal in business is I want all my businesses to run without me. So my goal is to have them, you know, me just put people into places and then just have them run and then sell them.
And what makes you happy?
Learning, bro. Honestly, like I'll give you an example. Just me sharing that is something that I learned, I would say, 3 or 4 months ago, and have the understanding that when you look at business isn't supposed to keep you trapped. So most entrepreneurs, they'll build a business and they basically are an employee in their business, and they never think about positioning it to like exit or to sell it. Whereas a business is really supposed to be a pathway for you to enjoy your life, right? Because you use this business as a tool to generate income for you to now be able to enjoy life how you want. Hopefully, right? That's the end goal. So even how I started my brand new business, Pod Shop, right? So it runs 100% without me, right? And I've been hiring different people. I created it. Essentially, it's editing, law form editing, short form editing, and a redistribution service for content, right? So that whole website and everything. So we created that with AI, right? So we use AI voiceover. You know, the actual way that I created it. You might enjoy this story.
I have a lot of AI questions.
Okay, cool. So you might actually enjoy this story. So maybe 3 weeks ago, probably about 3 weeks ago, I was supposed to shoot a podcast. This is the first time this ever happened.
Okay.
So I'm shooting a podcast. The guest no call, no shows. It left me on red after confirming 48 hours. And I've seen the person in person.
Sounds like talent.
Interesting. But never happened to me before, so I was interested. And then I was actually supposed to go on a date the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl no call, no show. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this energy and I'm going to build a 7-figure company. That's what I thought in my mind, right?
So did you look back?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, how can I do this without me having to do a lot of effort? I was challenging myself. And one of my mentors, she's a digital mentor because I haven't met her in real life, but I consume a lot of her content. Her name is Cody Sanchez. She's talking about acquiring businesses. So she had a business that was similar, and she was talking about like how she runs it, but she owns it but doesn't run it. So I was like, damn, okay, I could do the exact same thing because I know a lot of people that want their content edited, want their content redistributed, and they don't have anyone, you know, that's reliable, let's say. So to what you asked me earlier, like I was paying attention to the market. I'm like, okay, let me build this because this is what the market is asking for. It wasn't about what I wanted to do because if it was up to me, I wouldn't necessarily have a content editing agency per se. I didn't see myself, oh, this is what I want to do. But I'm into like making money. Like I'm into like meeting people. I'm into creating things that now that I don't necessarily have to leverage my time for, you know, just think, grow rich, like leverage, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. How can I build this fast? I hired somebody on Fiverr, built the website, $200. I paid a voice actor $50 to do the voice on the video. And then I paid one of my editors $50 to edit the content. So that's what, $300? Website, right? Video, voiceover, $300 is up. I could process payments, and we have 4 offers, and we got 3 clients, and we got in that first 3 weeks. And this is without advertising because I wanted to make sure I had things set up first. So that came off of, okay, cool. What can I create that can help and serve people? But to your point, what's my goal? What I want to do, and how does it serve the goal? So my goal is to exit this agency.
Okay. So
based on my math, it was like 60 clients. It makes it a $90K month company. You know what I'm saying? Which is about like I think it was like 1.3 million or something like that. So that makes a company based on a multiple like a $5 million company. Okay. With 60 clients. So I could sell that in like, 12 to 18 months if I wanted to. But that's what I'm thinking about.
So you say your goal is to get out of the company and then do what?
And then purchase another one.
So when you say people do all of this stuff because they want to make money so they can enjoy life.
Yeah.
What does enjoying life? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, so check this out. You might enjoy this too. So my name is Brendan Boyd, right? So when I think about my upbringing, I don't know nothing about my legacy. I don't know nothing about my people. You know what I'm saying? My dad died when I was younger. My mom died. My grandmother passed away. My last name came from my grandmother's husband. And when they divorced, I guess whatever they had, he just kind of like abandoned my mom, me, moved to a different state, and he never connected the family. Then he passed away. So I don't know nothing about the last name. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just change my life. I'm going to just change my whole name and build my old legacy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where I come from. I did the research. So it's like Nigerian, Scottish, and Irish. So to your point, traveling, step one is let me go to where I'm from.
Yeah.
Let me go to these places.
Yeah.
Let me see if it hits different. Let me see what the energy feels like, But really like traveling and then inspiring and teaching people impact, right? So what's one thing that the Rockefellers did, they created generational wealth. They use trust. You know what I'm saying? They use family office. They use infinite banking. A lot of us, we don't understand those concepts. We don't know how those concepts work. We don't even know, what's the importance of having insurance.
Yeah, I don't know what infinite banking is.
But it's sad. Okay, but it saddens me when somebody passes away, and what's the first thing that happens when somebody passes away nowadays?
That people fight for money, or money starts.
Let's say they don't got the money. What they normally do typically?
If you don't have the money, if I passed away and I don't have money,
let's say, okay, yeah. Let's say
I'm in heaven.
God, let's say God forbid you passed away, right? What would your people do if they didn't have the money to bury you?
Cry.
They'll get the GoFundMe.
Oh no, people do that.
Yeah,
my family would never.
Okay, so maybe you're not an example. Okay, so it saddens me when I see
that actually happened with my father. He passed away. No.
Oh, never happened.
No, we cried.
Okay, so what y'all did?
We had a memorial service.
Did y'all cremate him?
No.
What happened to his body?
It's in Hart Island. It's an island in New York where unclaimed people go.
What? I never heard of that. That's crazy. So when you can't afford to bury like your loved ones, they just put you on an island, put his damn bones on his island.
The state will take the body.
That seems like it's expensive.
Not for me.
Well,
and it sounds harsh. There's a lot of things the state has to pay for with.
Why don't they just cremate the ashes?
That's expensive
to cremate
the blood.
Nah,
unless you just. I'm not lighting people up
on an island. Well, on the island, what do they do with the bones?
I have no idea. I don't know if people can visit. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we gotta look that one up. That's interesting.
But yeah.
So I guess to my point is, when someone passes and the family or the loved ones have to go put a GoFundMe together.
Yeah.
We have to collect 50, 100, maybe 1,000 donations to bury this person. As a result, they may get the $10,000, $20,000 they need. They bury him. Maybe if they, if he has some kids or descendants or whatever, they get a little bit of money. That's it. Right then, don't spend the money, waste the money, it's a wrap. But if we had life insurance would take care of that. It would probably take care of, either the mortgage on the house or a portion of the mortgage on the house. And if it's the right life insurance, it will continue to pay the family. So we don't even know, a lot of us don't even know that.
Right.
So we missing that. So instead of rallying hundreds of people to pay you 10, 20, 50 bucks so we can, bury Uncle Jim, we should be paying the 15 bucks a month to get this policy to take care of Uncle Jim, God forbid something happens, which is a foundational piece.
Facts.
That's what I read. So that's what I also am passionate about too. So traveling, but then also sharing what I've spent like hours or, hundreds of thousands of dollars learning to share with people for free so they can, just improve their lives. Because I didn't have this information. I remember when my grandmother passed away, she left me $150. I spent that on cars and bikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody was in my head like, yo, listen, you 16, I know you ain't going to pay attention anyway. You got to do what you're going to do. But why don't you waste half of that and then we could take this other $75,000 and we could put it into what enabled your grandma to leave it at 150.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, my goal is similar. I want to travel with my friends. That's all I care about. But I also want to impart wisdom and what I know and help other people have their dreams come true.
That's what I'm saying. You can't do that if you worry about money, though, which is why, for a lot of people, okay, think about this. How are we able to live and really be out here seeing what life has in store for us if we're worried about survival mode? If you're worried about paying bills every day, every week, you can't really think about, why you're here.
I think you can. I think you just got to plan it out. Like the bills, the bills are always going to be there. I'm going to have bills the rest of my life.
Yeah, but you'll have bills the rest of your life, right?
And I'm still going to travel with my friends, though.
100%.
I could think about the bill while I'm on the beach, but I'm on the beach. I'm on the beach.
Yeah.
So it's possible to do both. Would I love to not think about the bills? Absolutely.
Okay.
I just don't know if that will be my reality, and I'm okay with that.
What do you think would enable you to not think about the bills?
If they were all handled.
And what makes them more handled?
Having enough capital to have that just be paid without me thinking about it.
All right, boom. So do you feel like more people would have the opportunity to actually experience or even think outside of paying a bill if they didn't have to worry about them finances?
Yeah.
So do you, what's your opinion? Do you feel like a lot of people kind of get to a point in life where they're not really able to experience life because they've been worrying about bills the majority of their life?
I'm sure there's a lot of people like that.
That's what I mean. So what you were just sharing with me as far as like being able to educate, impact, bestow the wisdom that you have on other people so they can hopefully impart some of that wisdom and implement that will enable them to do certain things.
If they have the tools. Yeah. So there's only discussing and teaching is only one part of it, right? Now are you giving people the tools to achieve that? And I think that's where the breakdown is. Like we can share all day, but like maybe somebody needs you to buy them that camera to start. Give them the tool. Yeah. Because if they don't even have the $150 or the $400 that it costs to get the camera, I have the knowledge, I don't have the means. And I think, we can go have a much larger discussion, but I think that is the miss in how we are as a society, how we are in our politics. Like you want to share all of this, but there are people who need the actual tools to start. I had a great start. I came from a family and they were able to give me what I needed to start my own journey. Not everyone has that foundation. And I think those are the people that, when you see people that are lacking the foundation, I think those are the ones who need not only the most coaching, but the support. And understand that once they have the tools, they're probably going to mess up. Have someone to support them and lift them up.
What's up, y'all? I'm standing in the middle of the street and I'm willing to risk it all because I want you to grow, whether through paid or organic measures. Over the next 5 days, the Audience Growth Challenge, we're going to be teaching you podcast guesting strategies, video marketing strategies, social media predictable viral creation strategies, the power of radio and digital PR. And these strategies are what you need to grow your business over the next 4, 6, 9, even 12 months to skyrocket your success. So if you want to join the challenge, all you got to do is click the link below and join the Audience Growth Challenge and join it as a VIP. Let's get it.
Do you think it's easier to make money now than it was before, like 10 years ago? Or do you feel like it's still about the same?
I think it's easier to make money now. There's more ways to make money.
Yeah.
But you still need the resources to do.
So do you feel like the hardest part for people to make money now, is it mindset? You feel like it's tools, resources, belief?
I would say tools and mindset. You can have the tools, but if you don't have the hustle, then you just got crap.
Yeah.
Those two together, I think if you have that, you can accomplish anything.
That's a good point. So what about with your phone? So people might be watching right now with their phone, right? Should you be able to make money with your phone? Do you feel like everyone should be able to make some money with their phone?
Absolutely, I have. I've done full content pieces on YouTube that are being monetized to make money.
How would you share with somebody right now that's never made no money with their phone? What's like one way they can make some money or put themselves in a position to make money with it? Because everyone got a phone,
right?
So everyone got at least that tool, right?
Hit video, record something, put it out, monetize it. There's a button on YouTube where you can monetize it. I don't know how you monetize on Instagram or TikTok, or I would share that, but on YouTube, there is a button that says monetize it. As long as you're not taking anyone else's intellectual property, because they will ask for that money, and YouTube will give them that money. Yeah. That's how you start. And you don't even know what that could come out to. I was just watching Tabitha Brown, and she was very emotional because Facebook reminded her of a memory.
Yeah,
and
Facebook's good for that.
Facebook is good for that. And it was it reminded her of one of her early posts. And she was in the kitchen. She was making something vegan. I'm not a veganist, so I don't know what she was making.
What's the veganist for?
People who are vegan. They're vegan.
I never heard of that.
They're vegan.
I'm a veganist?
Yeah. Okay. She was making whatever, and she said, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this, but God told me to do this. So I'm doing it.
Like creating whatever she was
creating the content. Video. She put the camera up. She was making some meal. She was eating whatever she was doing. It didn't look like she was doing much. But she did it.
Documented.
She was talking. She was eating. But look at her now. Now she's crying about how much that one video, that somebody saw that video, it went viral. She ended up getting sandwich from, after that video, she got a sandwich from Whole Foods. She was eating the Whole Foods sandwich, talking about how good it was. Whole Foods ended up reaching out because that went viral. Now she's had this huge platform, but she started just by doing normal shit.
Yeah.
She put the camera on. She said, I don't know what I'm doing, but God told me to do this, so I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And now she's tearful about it because she's seen the results of just being obedient. Well, you brought up the Bible, so that's why we're here now.
I'm with that.
Just being obedient. So another part of that is understanding what your purpose is. Like your purpose here and your godly purpose. Like I know what my godly purpose is, and I think that because I am doing what God has asked me to do, everything I desire to do.
How do you hear God?
Pray.
Yeah.
But my prayers are real different. Like I just be like, one is quiet and in a dark space, and I'm like, God, send me a sign, but it has to be clear. Like, don't, people say like, oh, the tree moved, I can't do that. I said, if I need money, put it in my bank account. If I need a new wardrobe, have somebody offer me clothes. Like, it has to be clear for me because I don't understand signs. And that's how I speak with God, and he knows. So I was like, hey, Lord, I need, literally, at one point I needed money.
Do you feel like we have God energy?
What does that mean?
Like within us. So
God is within everyone.
I know. So do you feel like we have that energy?
To summon things to happen?
Yeah. Tap into things to make things shake, make things move.
I think we do. Yeah. But it has to be approved by God first. So that's why you have to have that conversation.
So yeah. Break that down.
Yeah, then you can make whatever happen if God ordains it to happen. If he does not want it to happen, it won't happen or it will fail very quickly. So that's kind of how I go through life. Like I was saying before, one time I needed money to move. Like I could not afford to live in LA anymore. And I said, God, I need money. The next day I had a $2,000 increase in my credit. It wasn't cash, but it was something I could use. It was more than what I needed. I really only needed $600 because I was driving to where I was moving to, but I had $2,000, so I had increase.
Yeah.
But I made a deal with God. I said, hey, I know what my purpose is. I will wholeheartedly fulfill my purpose, but I need you to do this. And he upheld his end of the deal, and I upheld mine.
So how do you feel like what you do for a living, does that help you to fulfill your purpose, or is that independent of such?
My purpose is to spread the gospel. So me working with the Walls Group, the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
So me working with the Walls Group, which is a Grammy-nominated gospel group, is me fulfilling my purpose.
Okay.
And I'm able to give them opportunities outside of just the gospel world. So that allows me to do what I want to do, right? That's what I have to do. And I like doing it. What I want to do is make people happy and have fun doing it. So people who are watching our shows, that makes them happy. People who are listening to music makes them happy. So in my job, helping create shows or booking talent for the shows, I'm bringing joy to people.
Yeah.
I like doing that. If I'm helping develop artists who are going to bring joy to people or bring joy to themselves, that's what I like doing. That's my goal. And all of that should be fruitful for me so that I can go and travel with my friends.
So if there's a could kind of go back to what we just said about the booking of the talent. If someone is not, let's say, an influencer, celebrity, or athlete, someone of stature, right? They're on the come up. How does that person get the opportunity to come on a show like, one of Complex's shows, like to get on that network? Like, what would align that person? Like, do they need to get themselves hot first? Do they need to pitch yourself? Like how do they need to come for someone that may not have that level of a celebrity yet?
They need to have some buzz.
Okay. They need to have some buzz first.
Yeah, like people come to Complex for a few things. One, to see their favorite celebrities, so they already have buzz. And then we do put some artists on. And when I say put them on, just expose them to a wider audience. But they're not super, unknown. They have a hot song out that people are talking about. There's already a conversation. We're just going to maximize that. So you got to have some buzz. You got to be moving something, and it's helpful to have a team because your team will be able to know how to pitch.
Is there a certain show that would be perfect for someone that's on the come up, or it just kind of depends on what maybe you guys may be looking for the different opportunities?
I think the content we do on our social platform will be better for those who want to come up. YouTube has a lot more weight behind it, so our shows on YouTube, like the hot ones and the 360s and the sneaker shopping, it's harder to get on those.
But it's easy to get on the social.
Easier, it's still not easy because we have a standard to uphold, but we take more chances, or we have taken more chances on our social platforms.
Yeah, I like that. So I mean, y'all can make it happen.
It's possible.
I'm gonna get another person.
It's possible. Just do the work, and it's also important to know about how to pitch.
Yeah,
because and understand who you're pitching to. Like Complex is hip hop, sneakers mostly. If you're a country artist, I'm not the person.
Yeah.
Unless you have some connection that makes it work. And a lot of great publicists will make some connections. Yeah. Might not get it across the line, but they are very skilled at putting words together to make it make sense. And I think that's super important. I get hundreds of pitches every day. Do I get to read them all? No. But the people who are consistent and pitch it and things that they've pitched me that could make sense, it might not have happened, but if they could make sense, I'm going to pay attention to those more.
Yeah.
So if you have someone in your corner that understands that and are supporting you in that way, then it makes it a little bit easier to get on these platforms.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So 2024, what do you feel like is like, I don't want to call it like a resolution, but like what are some of your goals for this year that may be different from last year? Remembering my dream. So we were speaking about that earlier. We spoke about that a little bit earlier. My dream was to have a company that manages talent and produces content. This last year, just with all of the changes at my company, at Complex, I think I forgot that. And I also was thinking about so that was on the back burner or not even? No.
I wasn't paying attention to it. I was focusing on Complex, which is fine. They pay me well to do that. But I forgot about what I wanted. And at the end of 2023, I started, thinking about bringing in more artists to manage. And I started asking them about their dreams. And literally last week, I'm like, well, I'm asking everyone about their dreams. What's mine? And I forgot what mine was.
Yeah.
And then I remembered what it was. I felt bad that I forgot it. Then I remembered what it was. And I'm like, well, I'm already managing and I'm still creating content. So I'm still working on my dream. I just didn't realize it. For 2024, I want to make sure that is top of mind.
I like that. Yeah. I see a lot of like as you explain that, the way that I'm digesting it is like intentionality, just being intentional. And even if like you say, you work for Complex. So even if you have, a job that you're working for, but you have this goal, this dream that you have, finding time to invest in that daily, weekly, whatever makes it.
And I think the finding time is important. I had went to Palm Springs, but I was still working, but from Palm Springs because we work remote. And while I was there for someone's birthday. So there was a lot of different activities we were doing during the day. And I was able to do it and get the work done. And I realized that I have more time than I think I do. When I'm at the crib, I'm just sitting at the computer all day. And I feel like, I can't do anything. But when I was away, I was playing kickball. I was doing all these other things and nothing got missed. And I was like, well, yeah, I can do other things during the day. And then that made me think about the type of manager I am. Am I expecting the people that report to me, because we're remote, to just be at their computers all day?
Yeah.
Is that fair? If we were in the office, it's
realistic. Yeah.
But we're not in the office. And if I'm thinking that way and I'm making them feel that they need to do that, am I doing a disservice as a manager? So I'm grateful that, one, I had that experience, and I'm grateful that I know I do have more time during the day. But also I have to make sure that when I'm actively working on Complex's time, Complex is getting everything they need from me.
Yeah.
They can't suffer, because then they'll be like, well, what you here for? If I see somebody giving more attention to something else, that I know I'm paying them to do one thing.
That's a fact.
But if I see them giving more attention to something else, go do that. I see that's what you're passionate about, and it's impacting what I need you to do. then go do that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And that's something I think about. And it sounds harsh, but that's business.
Yeah.
And I have to think about that as myself as well. There's other things I want to do. I get it done, but it doesn't stop any momentum for Complex.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, it also makes me think about, like, when I have my other businesses, I wouldn't take time for myself. You know, like, I would just, until I fall out, you know? But now it's like, I make sure that I do what I need to do for me, work, and then I have time for me after, or whatever the case may be. Or if I'm traveling, I'm putting some time for me to do the things I want to do. Will also give you the inspiration,
Yeah.
you know, and then do the work that needs to be done. Which is why business, I feel like people need to pay attention to, like, the structure of business. And if you build your business the way it should be built, you're not going to be trapped in it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to build it up, leverage it, or even if you want to be in it because that's what you want to do, you're not having to do everything. You know, you have 1 or 2 employees, and you got systems set up. You know, you got your SOP set up. You know, there's like a chain of command. There's like a flow of how things happen.
Yep.
And then you have time for family, for yourself, for all the things that you want to do.
And it's really setting balance. So, like, my full-time job is Complex. I tell all of the other things that I do, I'm Complex from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sometimes a little after, just because of my job. But after 3 p.m., I'm fully your manager. I'm fully all of these other things.
Yeah.
So you have my attention, even the weekends. But I also find balance in that, right? Luckily, none of the artists that I work with are, like, super needy. So they don't always need something. Also, I guess most of them, the Walls Group anyway, are based in Houston. So they're not physically with me all the time, which is another great thing. Because some are with me and they'll get more FaceTime with me. So I think just understanding the balance, making sure everybody knows what that balance is, and then you can enjoy yourself and make sure everyone's needs are satisfied and spend time with your friends and your family and all of that. And sometimes make everything work. Like, I go to New York every month, where I'm from, for business. But while I'm there handling business, I'm seeing my family as well. So I'm making everything work to the best of my ability.
So as we close out, what are some things that maybe you do in your life that you feel like people could benefit from if they knew about it? Like, what are some things that work for you? Is it, like, you know, meditation, reading, walking? Like, what are some of your own little jewels that you use to keep yourself going?
Prayer and constant conversations. Like, I learn
with
so much. No, with other people. I learn a lot by just having one-on-one conversations with people. I don't necessarily like group settings, because what you really going to talk about?
Yeah.
Some basic shit. Having one-on-ones with people, you get to understand how other people think, and you can be inspired by them. And I think that can go any way. Like, having a mentor. I have a mentor who I speak to, Stephen Hill. He was the former president of BET. I throw some ideas to him, and he throws some things back at me. Like, I think that's great. But it doesn't have to be people that are older than you all the time. You can be inspired by people that are younger than you. And I felt like at some point in my career, people didn't really care what I had to say because I was young. I want to make sure I'm not doing that to anyone else. So I'm having conversations with whoever is around me. 1, I want to get to know them. But 2, how can we inspire each other? I think those 2 things, you never know. You can build businesses like that and build friendships like that. You can build relationships. So, like, I think those, and people need people. That's a whole song. Like,
yeah, that's a fact, bro. They do it. I think people overthink that because they think about, well, what can I get out of it more so? You know what I'm saying? Than the people. So, for instance, like, whatever your goal is, right? So let's say your goal is to make $100,000. It's not about how can I make the $100,000. It's like, how can I serve as many people that I need to serve? That's going to allow me to get to the 100K. And it changes your approach.
And maybe I could get to the 100K faster if I'm working with somebody.
Facts.
And I won't know that unless I'm having that conversation and seeing what their needs are. I'm like, oh, well, here are 2 needs. You was talking earlier about filling a need.
Yeah.
Here are some needs
exactly.
that one I can fulfill and you can fulfill this other thing, and we're both winning out of it. So it's not you getting over on somebody. It's making sure that both of you guys are being taken care of. So that's equal. But everybody wants to be treated equal.
So have you got some from this conversation from me? from like these conversations?
I have. One, I learned more about business.
Yeah.
Just because that is what you're focused on. And the two different ones that you, like having how you bond the spark of 3 weeks ago, you being curved,
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
but it propelled you.
100%.
You being curved inspired you. So you can be inspired.
Allow me to help all these other people.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you never know where the inspiration can come from, but also your mindset automatically is, okay, I want to build this business, and the goal is to get out of it. So that's kind of inspired me while we was talking earlier about me getting back to my dreams and making sure, hey, yes, I have this goal. I need to focus on it, even when things aren't going right.
Yeah.
Even when I had all these plans, those plans might be falling away, but I can still achieve my goal.
Like, okay, I'll give you an example. I feel like, and I'm happy you said that. Everyone has a voice in their head, right? And sometimes the voice in your head is loud. Like, I'll give you an example. I wanted to shoot this show with you. I wanted to connect with you. But the voice in my head is like, bro, we're actually a show today. Chill. Right? So I could listen to that voice and not do the pod. Don't sit on the couch with you. Don't build a relationship, right? Don't meet your homie, right? And now be able to take that and go to that next level, whatever that might be.
Right.
But then also the content that we're creating, have that not available for people to digest, which could inspire or help someone else.
Fact.
But if I'm listening to, let's say, I don't even want to necessarily call it negative thoughts, because they may not even be negative.
Yeah.
But if I'm listening to that voice in my head that's not serving what the purpose might be,
right,
what the intent might be, you know what I'm saying, then we don't have, there's no output.
And in that same vein, someone told me last year, the year before, that like, I'm now the head of a department, like I need to stop being seen more. I don't like to, you won't find a lot of interviews with me because that's not, I don't necessarily want to be in front of anything.
Yeah.
But there might be a reason why someone told me I need to start doing that. So had we met last year, I would have never been on this podcast.
I would have to shake you down.
Right. Now, you wouldn't have had that. But this year, I'm in a new mindset. I'm like, well, maybe there is something I need to share. People, like I said, I like to have one-on-ones. So people who have one-on-ones with me get everything I got. But maybe I need to share more outside of the one-on-one.
So have you done interviews last year?
One. I did one podcast.
So you already
I'm not.
here where you were last year at the beginning of the month, beginning of the year. Cool. So all you got to do, one more, you doubled it.
And then I doubled it up.
That's dope. And I think to your point, there's definitely a reason for you to be in front more. But I think obviously also with just us being able to, you know, to do it on this episode as well. You know, there's people that are going to get a lot from it.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have happened without the invite.
No. This was dope, man. This was dope. I also appreciate you following up because I'm the follower of King too, but it just shows you kind of like, you know, you wanted to do it, you know, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm a man of my word. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, even if I have to knock your door down. You got to tell me you don't want me to do it no more. Because if I committed, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Cool. Anything else you want to tell people? You can look at that one right there.
Be blessed and pray. That's all I can say.
That's it. All right, listen. In that episode of the Unpursued Podcast, man, gave y'all more value. Listen, you got to pay attention to them and follow. Actually, let them know where they can follow you.
Antboog, ANTBOOG on Instagram. I think I have a TikTok that is in there somewhere.
YouTube.
I don't have a YouTube channel, but you can follow the Walls Group Official across all social platforms as well as YouTube. And then you will see me start posting more about my other artists as well. So follow me. I will expose you to my other artists and then follow them and support.
And then you said gospel.
The Walls Group is in gospel. One is in pop and one is in hip hop.
You want to shout them out too while we here?
We're not ready for that yet.
So gospel, pop, and hip hop.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And they can follow you and they'll learn more and all of that.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So we'll see you guys on the episode. Thanks for tapping in. And we out.